Hey, welcome to the longest day of the year, also known as the first day of summer, also known as the day Kyle's back in his seat, and we're going to talk about a few automotive things as well.
Everywhere I go,
They better watch out for me. They better watch out.
Yeah, Kyle's been like charging the batteries for the last 4 days. I don't know how many days, kind of charging the batteries, but you're like
kind of charging the batteries, except for when you got full throttle family days every day with like extended family and weddings you're going to, and
there's the key. Extended families change the dynamic a lot.
There you go. That's how it was.
That.
But it was really good. I had a great weekend. This is what's cool, and I wrote up the lead in the daily email is, if you, I don't care what business you're in, what side of the business, there's a point that comes that when you get a team together, when your crew, like your team, is just firing and locking and working together, and it's just like a nice little jazz set, right? It doesn't, if you step out for a minute, like the jazz, like the bass player just picks up where the drums left off,
fills it in. That's a great analogy,
and that's what it felt like this weekend. Like I had no fears, no is, like, all right, Team of Sodu, community, the whole 9 yards. Everybody's rocking and rolling. Things are moving. This summer is just going to be unbelievable with more than cars and a Sodu con and the whole 9 yards. Like, kicking off summer today is a big deal, y'all. It
is a big deal. And special thanks to Jordan Cox for filling in for Kyle.
Yeah.
They're big shoes to fill, but he did a great job Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job. He had his little pre-made shirt on, so we got it. We're getting him a regular shirt shipped out there. So
I know his bootleg shirt was pretty cool. Oh, hey, want to say howdy to all of our friends at NIADA out at the Wynn Resort in Las Vegas. Man, I've never been. I don't think you've ever been. Have you?
I know. We got to put it on the calendar next year.
I know. It's just
those independent dealers. They know how to throw down, man.
They sure do, man. They sure.
Our life has been on like the retail side, but the independent dealers, they don't mess around.
That's a different world, man.
Did you see? I think I saw some pictures with like Sugar Ray out.
Sugar Ray Leonard, man.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I saw him too, man. You gotta have Sugar Ray. Oh man. All right, let's get into some news, because we have some fun things, and kind of like included like 6 stories within 3 today, because there's a lot going on around some topics. But first up, Tesla is racking up the charging wins lately as more automakers adopt Tesla, their standard charging standard, as their main standard. And now Texas is the first state to mandate that state-backed charging stations use Tesla's tech. Rivian also has adopted Tesla standard yesterday, and Hyundai is considering adopting the Tesla standard after Ford and GM announced that. So there's a lot going on at a very fast pace. It's all, Kyle, you have the money trigger. Why is Texas behind Tesla? Hit that.
That's the answer why. Because if they got a big old place where they're building things right there, then you want to keep Tesla happy for sure.
It really is a symbiotic thing for Texas. But, Tesla standard has to be included now, as well as the CCS universal charging standard, if these new charging stations in Tesla want any of Texas's money, which they all do. Here's a quote from the Texas Department of Transportation. They said the decision by Ford, GM, and now Rivian to adopt the NACS, which is the Tesla standard, changed requirements for phase 1 of their rollout. So like they had a phase 1, it was all locked and loaded. And then they said, hold up. Once all these other automakers are adopting the standard, now, if you're going to be a part of phase 1, you have to also include the Tesla standard. Federal dollars don't require the Tesla standard currently. They're just that universal CCS charger. However, there are a lot of states starting to stack up, giving people bonus money if they introduce the Tesla standard. Like we mentioned, Hyundai said they are going to seriously consider adopting the Tesla standard, as well as
they probably will.
Oh, well, they're playing measured, right? But I mean, they say we want to make sure it's in the best interest of consumers. There's no way it can't be if that's the standard all
at this point. It's just like dominoes, right? It's like, all right, here's USB, and it's just there it goes. Yeah, right? I mean, that's basically what it is. It's like, all right, this is how we charge. This is like And there had to be this had to happen. I think everybody, including the federal government, was trying not to hook, on the coattails of Tesla, but they're just too big as far as market share is concerned at this point, and their charging network is too expansive for people not to lean in on that charging standard. Every other, I mean, you just look at like gas pumps, right? Gas pumps have a standard. Now they weren't created. Well, I don't know. Actually, we should look at the history of a gas pump. It might have been created originally by an automaker because you just have to put it like you have.
I'm trying to think like what else would you have to like? I mean, they were. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting.
It's a great question, right?
Other charging networks are not similar, right? I mean, you got the like 50 dongle thing for all of the 18 different phone types or, little charging things, which that could be simplified as well, right? We tried to do a USB and micro.
Well, they kept getting smaller, more efficient, faster. And so.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a lot harder. This is straight power.
This is straight power. Yeah. So I think that it's going to have to happen. And I'm telling you what, Tesla, that stock price is like, it's just soaring every day. Every single one of these announcements is another, like, there's another 2%, there's another 5%, there's another bop. So kudos to that, to Tesla for being out front and everybody just jumping on board. Can I ask a question of everyone, please, on whoever's responsible for naming the North American charging standard? Can someone figure out a word that starts with S to go on the front of this so we can call this the snacks standard? Can someone please do that?
There you go. There's just one humble request from
just a humble request from a guy doing a podcast. Okay, just a humble request.
Yep, like you just mentioned, Tesla stock is up 50% in the last 30 days, and we've said this a lot on the show before. Like, Tesla is not a car company; they're an energy company, and this is kind of just like another step in the game of that. So excited to see some unification around all this, though. It's really good. Yep. It's really good. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a segue and I just can't. So as used vehicle values decline and interest rates are high, loan to value ratios are significantly on the rise, according to a recent study by TransUnion and JD Power that was released yesterday. So basically, used car loan to value ratios have been increasing, averaging 125% in Q1 of 2023 compared to 110% in 2022 and 104% 2 years earlier. So just 2 years ago, loan to value ratios were pretty close to even, and now they're at 125%. The analysis suggests that borrowers with more vehicle equity are more likely to protect it by making their payments on time, while those with fast depreciating vehicles are more likely to become delinquent. And on top of that, subprime borrowers are 25% more likely to go 60 days plus delinquent than their non-subprime cohorts. I'm sure this is a big topic of conversation at NIADA this week.
It's a massive conversation because you just look at, one, on independent dealers looking at buy here, pay here's, and the amount of people not able to pay their bills. And when you look at people in inequitable situations in their vehicles, they start to have those question marks on whether or not it's worth it anymore. And to see an average LTV ratio of over 120%. I mean, I remember when lenders just literally wouldn't go over 120%. And now we're seeing these high average loan to value ratios. This has been kind of a concern that's happened over the last couple of years. And initially, when vehicle prices soared, we started to see a lot of equity still in the market. And so you would see high down payments, high equitable trades. But as vehicle prices are decreasing, the outstanding loan to value ratios are higher and higher because caps were at the top. Banks were lending right at the top of their equity position at 115, 120, even credit unions up to 140%. And then as the vehicles decrease in value quicker than the typical payment process happens, all of a sudden you have this gap in loan to value ratio. You're going to start to see it harder for people to trade in, harder for people to afford the next loan payment because they're having to put inequity on top of the next loan and lower down payments because there's less money in savings nationwide. So really something to keep an eye out. I think like consumer price index and the purchasing power in the market, especially for prime buyers, is going to keep us out of like a disaster situation like we had in 2008.
Right.
But it's still something, especially for people that are doing a lot of subprime lending and managing those portfolios with their banks, to pay attention to.
This is one of those situations where I really start to value a lot of the dealers that we see out there going to bat for their customers, making sure they have a payment they can afford, and doing the extra work upfront, especially with high interest rates, making sure that the customer is set to be successful in the vehicle, because nobody wins if a customer fails on their payments, right?
I mean,
it trickles down and everybody loses.
Yeah, Matt Lasher talks about this all the time, and they have
Sure
their product
does.
Westar came out with Streamline, and it's a lot. It's just about like educating the customer up front, selecting the right vehicle, making sure that the vehicle matches the payments, matches the buyer and the lender, so that you don't ever get a customer into a situation where they have to fall delinquent or they can't make their payments, because that customer is going to be much more loyal to you over lifetime, because they're going to be able to come back and trade that vehicle. So just thinking about the long game and the way that you're giving customers access to the vehicles that you have is a really, really important process right now that every salesperson should be thinking about with every customer.
I love that. I love that. Oh man, we're not doing good in the segues.
Oh
today.
no, I have a lot of things to say, but nothing to say about switching things. You know.
Speaking of switching things, I don't know.
Segue.
Just had a Jordan Cox the last 2 days literally came into the show. Like pre-show is like, look, I have some segues in mind already. Like, so he was thinking segues from the beginning. So we're a little rusty. We're a little rusty. He came to the show. He's like, I have one job today. Let's make sure segues go well.
There you go. Well, hey, taking a page out of sports arena life, the Richmond Ford Auto Group, they have 3 stores in Virginia, has started honoring their auto technicians like legends. They've actually been doing this for a couple years now, but they have personalized banners featuring techs' names, specialties, and accomplishments hung over service base. So VP of Biz Dev Kayla Cody, who will be at a SodaCon this year.
Yes, she will.
In the technician world, they feel a little bit invisible because we celebrate sales all the time. This definitely showed them we are paying attention to you. Yes, you're important. You drive our business. So if you're watching the video, you can see there's a couple photos up there of these. They legit look like massive like arena banners.
Arena, hockey arena. Do they do this in soccer?
No, not so much.
Not because they're outdoor.
But you've got the name, and you've got when they became certified, their actual signature, whether if they're a senior master tech or if they're just a master tech. It's got like the awards and accomplishments that they have up there, and it's like, yo, I love it because you immediately know who's in that bay, who the technician is. You can introduce yourself if you're on the variable ops or on the back of the house side. Like, you get introduced to the technicians immediately when you walk in, and it's a sense of pride. Like you think about that when a ball player goes into the locker room and they got their name slapped up there and their jersey up there. It's that same type of feeling. It's like,
it's a bigger feeling than that. They're used to that. Like, this is a bigger feeling than that.
Way bigger.
And another thing, I think it really does help bring the team together, even because you obviously have new people coming in and out, and you have lube techs coming in and out, right? Like, higher level techs are going to change, less frequently, but to be able to walk in and know, like, those are the experienced ones, these are the newer ones, that's what that person, like, I don't know. Yep. It's like, this is one of those examples where we say it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. No, it just has to be thoughtful, and humans respond to thoughtfulness. Funny thing about that. Yep. Right. It does. Exactly. Oh, there was a quote in Unreasonable Hospitality, and we talked about it once. Unreasonable Hospitality is a book by Will Guidara. We've all been reading it and leaning into it, like legendary restaurateur, entrepreneur. And he said, luxury, it was something about like, because something is luxury doesn't mean it has to be expensive.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
We're going to find that quote because we're botching it right now.
I don't want to try it again, but
no, yes, I'm not. No, we're not.
Basically, the idea is like feeling luxury isn't about how much you pay, but it's more about the experience, right?
Yep.
And this is just like, how's any technician there going to go work at another shop and walk in every day and not have a banner over their booth, over their bay?
That's right.
That's just loving people more than you love cars right there.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Well, good, because it's summer. We have more daylight to love people more than we love cars than any other day this year. So go make good use of it. Do something thoughtful. Do something intentional. But whatever you do, do it with purpose.